Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am doing Rachel's Weekly Challenge weeks 30 and 31. Now they're very similar and I've decided to combine the two together for that reason. So she started off with a book page. She had lots of different sorts of book pages and papers, you know, straw paper and all that sort of stuff, but I don't have any of that, so I'm just going to be using book pages that I do have. This is an old children's book, so I'm going to cut this down to size. So I'm going to make them, just trim that edge off first. And I'll make their the journaling cards, so I'll make it say 4 1/4 inches wide. And I don't want them that high either, so I'm going to make them about 7 inches high, which will be plenty, I think. Cut the top of that off. And then cut that down to 7. Okay, what have I got? I've got 4 1/4 by 7. Okay, so let's cut a few more. There we go. Now I'm going to back each of these with one of these papers. So this is for journaling. This is on thick paper. It's I think it's about 110 GSM. So I'm going to do the same for that. I'm going to cut these down to 7. And then cut them at 4 1/4. So now I'm going to attach these to the backs of my book pages. I'm going to use glue to do that. You could use glue stick, you could use you know, whatever your favourite glue is. Rachel uses glue stick a lot on her projects, and she did say that there was one that she tried when she was here in Australia from Officeworks. It's the blue Officeworks brand glue stick, and I thought, she said it works really well, so I thought I might try that, but I haven't been over to Officeworks to get one yet, so I will try that when I do have the opportunity. I am not a big glue stick fan. Sorry about that, the postie just arrived with a parcel, so I had to answer the door. Try and get this on as square as I can. Probably would have been easier if I had have stuck my papers together first and then just cut them out, but this will work. This will work. Now, I don't think that you need to watch me stick 2 pieces of paper together, but this is what I'm going to end up with. Okay, we've got our book page on one side and we've got our writing page on the other. So I'll go off and do that and I'll return when I've got them all stuck up. Okay, so I have stuck them all together. They've now got their writing on the back, and I've rounded the corners and I've inked around both sides. So just some stuff that you probably know how to do. You didn't really need to see me do that. Alright, so I'm going to do 2 like Rachel did for video week 30 and 2 for week 31. Now she used fabric, and I've got some assorted fabrics here that I plan on using. This is some that I'm using at the moment for a journal I'm making, so I might, this is going to be the cover. So let me just grab some scissors. Okay, so now in these for video 30, week 30, Rachel did 3 squares. Actually, she used her pinking shears, so I might do that as well. I can make these a little bit smaller. Okay, so there's one. And what else shall we put with it? We could use a bit of this greeny colour. These are just cotton fabrics that I've bought, just thinking that they might come in handy sometime. You can see that they have been washed because they're all fraying. But yeah, they're just like fat quarters or something like that. But they do come in handy for things like this. So let's cut a piece off of here. I'm not saying that they'll be square, they won't be, because cutting straight is not one of my acquired skills. Okay, so we've got that and we've got that. I could put one of these on there. Or I could put this brownish coloured one on there. Let's go for this one. Okay, so let's open that out and cut a little square off. That might be a bit small actually, but we'll see. As I said, they don't have to be the same size or anything like that. There, it is a bit smaller. But what I'm going to do is put that one at the top, that one in the middle, and that one down the bottom. So we've got two plainish ones and a patterned one here. Now, Rachel also uses a glue stick to stick her papers down. At this moment, I don't have a glue stick, but I'm not a big glue stick fan anyway. So I'm going to use this boil glue. It's an acetate-based glue that I buy at Bunnings here in Australia, which is a hardware store. This boil glue does a good job. I haven't come across anything that it doesn't stick, and generally it doesn't show through fabric, unless, you know, if you just pile it on so thick, it probably will, but just putting it on normally, it doesn't tend to. Okay, so that's them stuck on there. Now let's do some other ones for this one. Let's make this one a bluish one, eh? So we've got this fabric. And I'm going to, once again, cut that with my pinking shears. Try and make it a bit bigger this time. I have to remember that I have to cut the bottom off. It's not bigger, is it? Not bigger at all. We've got this blue that looks like ticking, or is ticking. I don't think it is actually, but it looks like it. So let's get some of that off. what other one do we want? What about this one here? That's got a bit of blue in it. This is actually a fabric sample from curtaining. So I'm sure that this will stick on there just fine, and it's already got 2 edges cut in the pinking style. Okay, so I don't know why, but I prefer my stripes running up and down. Why is that? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stick them on like that. Now this one's got some tape around the edge, but I'm not going to try and peel that off. I'm pretty sure it will stay on there and stay stuck to my journaling card. Now, because week 31 also includes fabric, I'm going to do the fabric for those 2 journaling cards at the same time while I've got the fabric here and handy. Oh, got 2 of those. Have I got room for 2 on there? Not really. Try and move that down a minute. We'll try going with 4 on this one then, eh? Seeing as how I've got the 2, may as well use them. Otherwise it will end up in the bin or sitting in a scrap box waiting to be used and never get used. I really need to have a big clean out here in my craft room. There's so much stuff in here that I don't use and probably never will use. Ooh, close. Very close. Okay. Right, so that's those 2. Now these 2 were slightly different but still using fabric, and first of all, there was a longer thin piece like so, and then I'll use this green again. Get a piece like that on there, and then a piece of lace. So a piece of lace was on there like that. Okay, so I think I want to drop that down a little bit actually. So let's stick that down. So this is just a way of using up your bits and pieces of scrappy fabric. There we go for that one. Now on this one, what shall we use? What about some of this? Have I used some of this before? No. Perhaps I'll use this for my long piece. Made that one a bit longer. Just going to try and straighten that up a little bit there. Like that. And what colour should we put with that one? Should we that. Looks like I've already cut that one. I used it over there, but I need to make it a bit bigger than that, so I'm going to cut that. Okay, like that. Now a piece of lace behind that. And I think I might put the lace there and that there, just for a bit of difference in the layering to that one. I like that one better anyway, so let's glue those down. Now once we've glued these in place, I need to then go and find some florals, because they were, well, the week 30 was decorated with florals, so I need to go and dig some of those up. I'm thinking that I might use die cuts as opposed to colourful floral pictures, but I'm not too sure at this point in time exactly what I'm going to do. So I will stick this down and then I will go and have a look what I've got, see what I've got amongst all of those things, you know, that you buy and you think you're going to use, and you think they're lovely, and yeah, and then they sit in your drawer or folder or whatever forever and you never get them out. Well, that's what I'm going to go and have a look in and see whether I've got something in there I can use to embellish these. If not, I've got some fussy cuts from the current kit I'm working with that I could use on there, but I'm looking probably more for something a bit taller than the ones that are in the current kit. I wonder if I can lift that up. Luckily enough that glue is not dry, so I'll stick that down there and that on there because I like that better. So lucky I could get to that. If I had been using art glitter glue, there wouldn't have been much hope of doing this, but this boil glue does give you a little more time to play around, which is great. Right, okay, so I'm going to go clean up all this stuff here and get some embellishments to carry on with these. So I'll move these down here. We'll go back to week 30 and I'll be back soon. Okay, so I've had a look around, fossicked in all my old places, and I have found this, which I'm going to put on here. I have inked around it. It was already fussy cut. It's an image that I have stamped, then heat embossed, and then coloured with distress inks and a wet brush. And I did this ages ago, so I'm very happy to be using something that has been sitting in my stash for a long time. I'm not going to stick that bit down yet because I've got this ticket that I want to put up there. I don't remember, I think I have inked around this, so I tried to do all of the, preppy stuff before I turn the camera back on, because there's nothing more boring than sitting and watching someone ink and cut out fussy cutting. So I'm going to pop that in behind there, like that. Okay, I don't think it's straight. That's better. And then I've got a tab that I have used my whale tail punch to punch this out of the same book page that I've used there. Well, it's from the same book, it's not the same paper. Actually, I don't know where my, oh, I know where they are. See, I put them away, that was a bit too organised. I'm going to pop that on there. Try to get it about centrally. And stick that down. So that's that one. Now for this one, I found this image. So I'm going to put that on there, and I was debating whether I'd move it. I think I might move it over more and trim that off. And I'm going to put it up a little bit higher, and I've got this label to go under here on this one. I'm going to put this one down the bottom. I might put it down there, drop that down about there. So same thing, this is stamped and heat embossed and then coloured using distress inks and a wet brush. You know those water brushes that have water in the barrel, and you put some of your ink onto your, put some of your ink onto a surface, a non-porous surface, and then just colour away. It's actually quite relaxing. Okay, now we could wrap that around, but I think I'll just cut it off. And we've got a tag to go on that one. that down there. That's that one. Now these two, most of Rachel's, she didn't do anything more to these. She left them like this, but I'm going to do a little bit more on mine. One of them she did do a tag on, so I'm going to put, no, not a tag, a tab. I'm going to put tabs on both of them. That's not central, but we can move it over a little. And this one's got a bit of that apricot colour on it, so I thought I'll use that side for that. Just pop that there. Hope my head's not getting in the way. Okay, so that's my two tabs. Now, this lace that I used has this floral on it, and I thought I would fussy cut a couple of those out and just put them down here on each of those, just as a little bit extra. Okay, now as I said, Rachel didn't actually embellish these ones any extra. She just put the tab on the top, and she didn't put a tab, she used a piece of paper and a piece of fabric actually, and then backed it onto a piece of cardstock or heavy paper, not cardstock, so that it stood up properly, stayed where it was supposed to. Okay, so let's turn that over and position that just on there like so. I mean, you can't really see it all that much on the creamy background, but its texture, you can see it there, looks good. And then I've got this piece of vellum that was in a book of labels I bought. Yeah, so I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm going to wrap it around to the back. So a bit of glue. This is probably where I should use a glue stick, being on vellum. I'm going to just try and spread it out a little bit with my finger, so that there's no big globs of it anywhere. Pop it on there, and then wrap it around to the back, like so. I could have cut it down, I thought about that, you know, just cut it in half lengthways, but I thought, well, the back's pretty plain, let's just wrap it around. So there we go. I think it looks nice with that little floral applique on there. So I'm going to do the same for this one. And I have a piece of the green vellum here from the same little booklet. Just smooth that out a little with my finger. Makes a mess of your finger, but you can always wash that off. And position that up there. And fold it over there. Okay, so let's have a bit of a recap. So these are Roxy's Weekly Challenge week 30. So we've got book page backed onto some writing paper, and then we've got some fabric swatches, I guess you could call them, down the side here, and then we've got a large floral embellishment on there and a tab. And we've done 2 like that. So this one's got more of the blue, so I've got the blue ticket on there and the yellow flowers to pick up the yellow in that piece of fabric there. And once again, writing space on the back. So that's week 30. And week 31 was the same sort of thing, so it was a piece of book page backed onto a piece of journaling paper, and then it had 2 pieces of fabric and a piece of lace. Rachel used different sorts of lace, but I've used the same lace on both. And then I have added the floral lace embellishment and the acetate. Rachel didn't do that, but she did add a tab, which was a piece of fabric. I think it was stamped fabric, which I do have some. I could have used that, but I like those. So yeah, she had a tab on one of hers. And so this is the same thing, but I've used the greens here, got the green floral, green vellum, let me get my tongue around that, and the lace applique piece there. So there we go, that's weeks 30 and 31. I know I'm cheating doing 2 weeks at a time, but I'm a bit behind. So yes, alright, well thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will of course put a link in the description box to Rachel's 2 videos that show this. So pop over and have a look at her videos. She does a great job. I love watching her YouTube videos. Alright, thank you for joining me, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Okay, bye.